Alex Hormozi, the creator of Gym Launch and the $100 million company Acquisition.com, followed this insane diet and workout program that I promise you've never heard of before, and it caused him to gain 35 pounds in 6 weeks, all naturally. Alex originally formulated this training plan after he came to the conclusion that if someone is stuck at the gym and hasn't been seeing any significant gains in a long time, maybe it isn't because they're at their genetic potential. Maybe it's because they're just not trying hard enough. To test his hypothesis, he recruited 3 other personal trainers who were willing to subject their bodies to 6 weeks of brutally high volume training and force feeding. For the duration of this 6-week plan, Alex and his 3 friends ate 50 grams of fat, 300 grams of protein, and a ridiculous 800 grams of carbs each day. That is just over 15 cups of rice and 6 full chicken breasts each day for 6 weeks. It's a good thing Alex is rolling in cash, because he would have needed a toilet made of vibranium to withstand the force of his bowel movements. While increasing his carb intake to this degree might have been overkill, more on that later, Alex knew what he was doing when he set his carbs so high. A high carb diet fosters a muscle growth friendly environment in your body. This type of diet releases ample insulin, an anabolic hormone which transports essential nutrients like amino acids and glucose into muscle cells, promoting repair and growth. Additionally, high carb intake stimulates the release of insulin-like growth factor 1, another hormone vital for muscle growth. This dietary approach also ensures your body consistently maintains optimal glycogen levels, which is the primary energy source used during bodybuilding training. So while smashing 17 cups of rice daily seems crazy, there is some method to the madness. But all the time Alex spent force-feeding himself rice and the hours spent on the toilet afterwards would have been for nothing if Alex didn't have the type of training plan that could put all of that energy to use. And that leads us to the second part of this muscle growth experiment, the absurdly high volume training plan. For the entire 6 weeks, Alex and his friends would train in a rhythm of 3 days on and 1 day off. So they would hit day 1, day 2, day 3 before taking a day off to rest and repeating from the start. As you can see, I wasn't joking when I said this was an insanely high volume plan. Just for chest alone, they were doing over 50 sets per week. And with every day starting with the bench press, they were benching 6 days a week, doing 5 to 7 sets each time. Just saying that makes my elbows ache. While this plan might seem insane, the results Alex and his friends got following it were incredible. If you guys are enjoying this scientific breakdown and want to see more like it, leave a like, subscribe, and comment who you want me to cover next down below. Now, if you're at all familiar with the scientific literature on bodybuilding, you're probably thinking that this level of overfeeding and overtraining should have led to Alex and his friends becoming broken and fat. But that's not what happened. After 6 weeks, here are the results of the experiment. Alex gained 35 pounds, while the other 3 gained 22 pounds, 26 pounds, and 16 pounds respectively. They all put on at least 40 pounds to their bench press. And they were each having 4 to 5 bowel movements per day, regular night sweats, and constantly felt nauseous from how much they were force feeding themselves. Those are some pretty impressive results for only 6 weeks of training. So does that mean, as Alex suggests in the article, you should try this program if you've been feeling stuck with your training? Absolutely not. Just because a program worked for a small group of people doesn't mean that it'll work equally well for everyone. In his article, Alex points out that many people won't believe that you can recover from all this training volume naturally, which is true. It seems pretty unbelievable. But instead of providing any real research or evidence to support his claims that a program like this would work for the average person, he just says that it's obviously possible to recover from all this volume because him and his friends were able to do it, and that people just need to change their mindset around what's possible. But again, just because something worked for a small group of individuals doesn't mean it will work for most people. Now, I actually completely agree with the thesis behind this experiment that says most people have limiting beliefs around the type of gains their bodies are capable of achieving naturally, and that they could achieve so much more if they only trained harder and took their diets more seriously. But with that being said, I think it's pretty insane to say that if you aren't seeing results in the gym, you should try jumping straight into eating 17 cups of rice and 6 chicken breasts a day while training twice a day, 6 days a week. The research shows that most people will respond best to 12 to 20 sets of hard training volume per muscle group per week, and anything after that will lead to diminishing returns from a muscle growth perspective. So if the average person does way more volume than this, they'll just be wasting a lot of time and energy, along with greatly increasing the risk of overtraining, injury, and burnout for no real improvement in gains. We also know from the literature that after a certain point, eating more food doesn't lead to more muscle growth, because our bodies are only capable of building lean mass so quickly. So if you push your calorie surplus to insane heights, you will be putting on more weight, but the majority of that extra weight will be fat. Now, these studies tell us what will work best for the average person, but of course, there will be individual variation. Like Alex and his 3 friends, for example, who, thanks to their genetics, were able to benefit from a much larger calorie surplus and a much higher amount of weekly training volume. Given individual variation, the smartest way to design your training and diet plan is by starting with what would work for the average person and building from there. So start with a moderate amount of training volume of 12 to 20 sets per muscle group per week and a calorie surplus of around 500 calories a day. But if you aren't seeing the type of results you want, slowly increase your weekly training volume and food intake until you are. Instead of following some extreme diet and workout plan that worked for some dude on the internet, it's much more efficient and sustainable to go with a personalized approach that caters to your unique needs. Because not everyone can afford to spend 3 hours a day in the gym while eating like 7,000 calories. And an excellent way to get a diet plan that's personalized to your needs is by using the macro tracking app MacroFactor, which essentially acts like your very own digital diet coach. MacroFactor creates a customized macronutrient plan that is updated each week, ensuring you progress without hitting any plateaus. If you're serious about making gains in the gym, tracking your calories is one of the best ways to do it. That's why I highly recommend giving MacroFactor a try. You can use my affiliate code DEMERS to get 2 weeks free and finally start seeing the results that you've always wanted. Just click the link in the description of this video to download MacroFactor and begin your personalized nutrition journey. So the moral of the story here is that while your body is capable of a lot more than you might think, if you hear about a muscle building plan that is completely based on anecdotal information and promises results that seem too good to be true, it's probably pretty safe to ignore it. Sorry, Alex. Now, if you want to learn the best way to build muscle fast, go check out my video on Arnold's top muscle building secrets, and I'll see you there.